Hi, YouTube. How are you doing? I'm doing great. Not too bad. Doug's grinding on metal outside. So, um, you know, I don't have a professional studio. I'm here talking to people, like minded people, hopefully. So, just bear with me or not. Either way. No, thank you very much for joining me. I appreciate you. Um, Doug had asked me to pray for his friends, the Wobbly, um, wait, yeah, I think it's Wobbly family. And I told him, well, I'm not going to do it online. I feel like that's jinxing people. But I told him I already have, I do. Um, so anyway, yeah, that's an active thing in my mind, especially when I hear that people are struggling in different ways, whether it's health or finances or what it is. Most of the time, I'm going to wish them well. Sometimes I'm going to wish them into the cornfield, but if you see what I mean. So, um, I'm going to share. There's a Professor Kloppenborg on Gnostic Informant. It's a video that's a year old, but I'm always interested to hear what scholars of ancient languages and history have to say, and this is the real Jesus and his real cult, because any formed religion, the word cult, that's just a group of people. Um, but anyway, there's some language in this video that is super, super interesting, like the meaning of church isn't quite what, or grace, or different things that you might find super interesting. So, um, and I've been thinking, and I can't help but think this all the time. I'm super amazed at the amount of people that mix their Christianity like it's all just one thing, like different sects of uh, sects of these. Did I put a X where there should be a C? I think I just did. I think I just spelt that wrong. Pardon me. Well, anyway, you know what I mean. Different societies of these religions aren't they're not created equal. They're not all the same. It's just like people that say they're Christians and they follow Judaism. Why do all the Christians want to be Jewish? I don't get it. You know, sure, there's some Jewish that are Orthodox that believe in a Messiah. There's also lots of Christians that already believe the book of Revelation has already been played out more than one time. I believe the Judgment Day may just be on an individual basis. Look, and it is, I mean, it is anyway. But look at society and how many times they've put people in a fear position. And, people on YouTube do this, people on Facebook. It's like, things are so terrible. Things have always been so terrible. Where have you been? It's like people are waiting for the Antichrist. Hello, haven't you noticed what the world is like? Christ evidently is not in charge entirely. So, who is? You? Me? No. Anyway, I think you get my point on that. It just, if you look in history, the times that people have been crucified and risen. If you look in different societies and their beliefs in that area, whether it's 1,000 years between one incident and another, it's like these things are being played over and over and over again for every generation to live in that fear and that bondage. You know, Christ is here to set us free, right? So, anyway, so that's what's on my mind today is just people, like, not all churches are created equal. It's like somebody that's Catholic listening to an evangelist. Um, wow, that's a big wow for me. I don't understand it. Like, I'll name names going from the Pope to Joel Olstien. I have a intense uh, condemnation of the Catholic Church, but um, I have a worse one for Olstein, if that makes sense, you know? Wow. That's not even in the same category of religion. It's just like Christians reading the Hebrew Bible. What? Where are you? Are you lost? Did you forget that they say Jesus is the King of Jews? He was not Jewish. You know, I don't care what people want to twist and what they want to say. The dude was not Jewish. He was from Galilee. That is not Israel, you know. But anyway, but people just want to ignore that. It's like, whoa, so he was Greek speaking. Were there Greek speaking Jews? Yeah, they were. They were the ones that twisted the text coming out of Crete, going into Latin, the Catholic Church, for deceiving people. That's what it's all about. So, yeah, anyway. Yeah, not all religions are created equal. True, there's only one God, and for people to even argue whose God is better, well, there are some, though, that serve Satan, you know. Um, Good luck with that. You know, I'll never bow, never, ever, ever, ever to any entity besides the Most High God, and that is not Satan. He might rule this world, but he doesn't rule my heart, you know. I know better than that. I'm going to lift that dark energy up. I'm not going to patronize it. If people think that they can work with that energy and stay unscathed, well, there's only one way they'd be able to do that, and that'd be if they were Satan himself. And here's something, there's 7 spirits of God, 7 of them. That's a trip, isn't it? You and I only have one. Christ only has one spirit. Not saying that Christians don't have the Holy Spirit within them, that's separate. You're each your own separate spirit, you know, that the Spirit of God can work through. But I'm talking the big dude. He's got 7 spirits. Wow. And they're all different. Isn't that something? I think it is. I think it's pretty remarkable, you know? That's why he sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake, you know, because he's with everybody on their own level. So, yeah, you're not, if you think you're walking on the dark side and God's not there with you, oops, yeah, he is. He's there with you, no matter where you are. You know, true thing. At least from my experience, it's a true thing, you know. But my strawberry shortcake turned out wonderful yesterday. I had made that angel food cake and strawberries, whipped topping, you know. Oh boy. And I lost 2 pounds. I think that, you know, I usually stay pretty trim anyway, and I fast through the day and eat at night. And, you know, and I don't really worry about it. If I'm hungry, I'll eat, but I just don't need it, so I don't eat it. But um, it's just a trip to be able to eat something that would be considered not a health food. I had pizza and shortcake. And at first, I had some ranch flavored sunflower seeds and put my pizza on and then turned it off and just let it sit there for a while and kind of cool. And then I had strawberry shortcake. And I, I think too, exercising and keeping busy. You know, you don't have to exercise your brains out if you're busy within your, you know, keep limber. Well, I do um, push-ups and backward leg lifts, and I've been doing a little running in place, but I'm like busy up and down all day anyway. So I wasn't, for some of you know, I had gone through a stroke and 2 sets of different broken bones from accidents and sinus operation, my hair falling out, all kinds of bad things about 10 years and more back. And I've been slowly recovering to the point of not even being able to walk or talk to coming back to into my own a little stronger. So yeah, my weird health stuff, it's been kind of all my life. I've been super strong, but not without my struggles, you know, some really strange strange allergies and different things, you know. But anyhow, so yeah, I'm thankful I can even keep busy when I want to. The most miserable thing in the world is wanting to be able to do something and you're physically not able to do that. Wow. That's the most horrible feeling I think there is. I think Doug had a broken ankle. I mean, he's had a broken arm too, but and he's got a metal rod in his arm. But uh, I think his broken ankle, and then he hurt his back. He fell off a ladder right onto his back on the concrete, and those 2 last accidents, I think, really kind of it immobilized him in such a way that he couldn't do things when he wanted to do them. And that's when you start thinking about more than just yourself in the world. I'm not saying he hasn't ever thought of anybody else, but he had his struggles in that area because I mean, I'm not making excuses for people, but people have a tendency to kind of turn cold hearted in their lives when they've had so many sorrows. And like they say, you either become bitter or better. Well, sometimes there's an in between situation where you can see the beauty in life, but you also have so many sorrows that you really, it's not something you just actually overcome. It's like the memories are going to be there regardless, you know. It's just um yeah, not becoming bitter is a good thing. You know. Yeah. So I always like just the thought that whenever we think we're having a really bad day, we can know for sure that there's somebody that's probably having a way worse day than we are. If we can look at things like that, it kind of reminds me of Doug asked if I'd share one of my videos. There was these people from Canada, not far away, that were interested in coming and looking at this custom BW bug we have, and and then her husband had said that it was out of their price range, and Doug said, well, then she kept typing. This was like last night, and she was bugging him. He didn't word it like that, but asked if I'd share one of my, because she had said Yeshua at him, and that drives him flippin' batty. And that goes deep. So anyway, yeah, I shared one from yesterday about talking about circumcision and resurrection and that type of thing. And I'm sure she's only church minded and has never known anything about the Masonic side of the spirituality of the church and their scriptures and all that, and is just stuck in that simple mode of language that she's really not going to understand and maybe take offense anyway, but whatever. So, but I told him I had this person that I had found on YouTube, and I thought because he was into practicing Judaism and of the Hebrew heritage, but yet would go into the Greek language to find sources and meanings of words and not hold back on what those were for everybody else. I thought this young person was a really cool person. So I wanted to friend him on Facebook too. I had found him on YouTube. So I went over to Facebook, but he wouldn't friend me on Facebook, but yet he wanted to talk to me in my private messages. I'm thinking, like, what, dude? Because um, I'm not Jewish, or because the age, or probably because he didn't want his family members seeing that association. I don't know for what reason, but my goal was to find, okay, here's somebody in a demographic, this age, this religion, with people that I love and care about that could maybe reach my Jewish side of my family, and they would have somebody to kind of um, see how both cultures were coming together and trying to work out scriptures and texts and things like that. Next thing I know, this person's telling me about all their health problems. He's like 25, a whopping old person. And all the things that I've overcome. The next thing I'm trying to type. I couldn't even type on a message to respond, and it was just one thing after another, just pummeled, because I had actually found him on another person's channel that they were talking about the scriptures and that type of thing, and he had told me that he had got kicked off of there, something to do, I don't know if he was like I don't know if he smokes like e herb or what, you know, but he'll wear like this um Arabic headdress and put it over, and he'll be like puffing, you know. So, and this one channel in particular talks about drugs in ancient times, but he does not indulge in substances. But just because he's talking about it and educating people on the drugs in ancient times and that type of thing, this person assumed that it was okay to do that on this guy's channel, and he got kicked off of the channel. I think that's why. I tried to get down to the bottom of it a little more, but he was more like trying to get me to turn away from where I'm finding an awful lot of information, and I just wasn't going to do that because I don't let somebody else's opinion of another person sway my judgment. Just just doesn't work like that. I don't care if it's Doug or my kids or whoever. It's just not ever going to work. Or they could like somebody, and if I don't, I'm not going to um, just side with somebody because of the way they feel. So I just, about the third or fourth time, and he was starting to remind me of my oldest son that does have a lot of health issues, but doesn't care about anybody else's. It's all really his pains in life. And yes, he is injured in more than one way, extremely and severely. But you still, and I've met people in hospitals and retirement homes that have more dignity and grace towards other people in extreme pain that don't put it off on other people. So I'm like, enough of that. I had had enough of him and just blocked him. It's like, okay. I actually was just looking for a medium in between two cultures to involve family members in a conversation about heritage and religion and that type of thing. So it's like, I don't know what he thought of me or for me. Uh, Pretty sure he wasn't saying a prayer for me, you know. Anyway, so yeah, I sent Doug a video to send up to the people in Canada, and maybe they'll appreciate it. Maybe not. Who knows? But yeah, you pretty much know when you see a custom car, like leather seats and roll bar, little race car with custom paint, and don't you know you're it's probably out of your price range to begin with. I think maybe I'm wrong, but maybe she just wanted to chat. And that's not a bad thing. It could be a good thing. But when she said Yeshua, um, to Doug, that was it. So anyway, it's just another name for Satan. But people don't want to hear that about Jesus, do you? No, you don't. Yeah. Is he gonna be okay? I don't know. Maybe ask our Father. Yeah, he's gonna be okay. You'd be pissed too if they hung you on a cross when you were still alive, right? No. Did you know they used to practice medicating themselves, self-induced death, and that's what Christing is. It's a drug. Yeah, that's the truth. It's all in the medical text, Galen's medical text, and backed up with other surrounding texts in the time of like ancient Greece, 1,000 years before Christ. They were doing these things, and was Christ a physician? Jesus? A doctor? Nah, heck no. They'll say he is. But guess what? Like with the Hebrews, I'm going to say it like it is. They had no poets, they had no physicians. There are absolutely no medical texts. There's no medicine documented, but there is in ancient Greece. There's physicians, there's medical care, there's texts. Even in Egyptian times they were doing lobotomies, and chemical surgeries and all kinds of different things. What happened to the Jews? Where's all their documentation of their doctors and their medical texts? And if Jesus was a Jew and he was a physician, where's the documentation of these? Yes, he raised Lazarus from the dead. Yeah, druggies. Yeah, they were druggies. There's correlating. If you know what was inserted and what was taken out of scriptures, and that's what we're getting down to the bottom of, even the names of the people involved and their ages, that'll trip you out. People think that the disciples were old men or like middle-aged people. They were all kids. The oldest one was like 19, 18 and 19, from 10 years old to 19. That's the disciples. Now think, does that trip you out that Jesus said, "Come with me and don't take a purse or um any writings or a script or a purse and come with me"? What does that sound like? How pissed would you be if you were a parent and your kid was following some joker? Well, you're going to find out what that's all about, and you may not like the answer, you know? But anyway. And yes, I am learning ancient Greek. I'm taking classes to be able to, I mean, I've had the side by side and done with Greek and Hebrew and Latin and 2 years of Spanish to be able to dig into all this, but now I'm digging into the ancient Greek so I can go to the very oldest text ever written and see how language and religion and different things progressed from there to now, including the changes that were done by uh, Jewish scholars, if that's what we want to call them, because, like I said, where's their medical texts and their poetry and their society before Greek? There wasn't any. They were there. Yeah, there, like in Crete, there were Jewish people that had migrated out of Egypt. There were three different groups. Some went over by the Caucasus, some went up to like Greece, and others went into like or like Asia Minor, and then up into what they call the steppe, into like Slovakia or whatever, Russia, German, that type. So yeah, and then they migrated all over the place. Norway, Sweden, for real. So so yeah, I'm gonna be reading this stuff. I mean, I'm learning slowly, but I'm getting it. I can actually recognize words now, somewhat, in ancient Greek, you know, which is a trip. It's a super trip. You'll see a word like that long, and there's different parts of it that means like something there in one word, where the Hebrew had to take little bits and pieces and try and decipher it. And it totally changed the meaning. It would change the gender. Like one letter could mean masculine, feminine, or neutered, you know? And they didn't know all these things. Whether like if there was a digamma on something and they'd either leave it out or add one where it didn't belong, little things like that. Oopsilons, yeah, it's a trip. There's no way. Greek is so technical, so high tech. All languages you can see actually come out of that. And then if you think, when the Tower of Babel happened, and then them writings of those Jews in that time, at that exact time. These things aren't coincidences. These scriptures were changed on purpose to deceive people. It says so right in the scriptures. The whole story's right there. What happened, you know? So, well, I'm going to get this uploaded. I love you all. I appreciate you joining me. I hope you enjoy my channel. Have a really beautiful week ahead. Peace from Pine City, Minnesota, USA.